Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. Fuck I, semi-revolving host Shorty. Breaking a couple of rules today when I review the Ghost Arm Made of Angry Ghosts. Because it's a full collection or full story in one big book. And I usually only do single issues because I do reviews in 5 minutes. I don't have a lot of time to waste. And doing a whole book sometimes can be a bit too much. Secondly, this is an advanced copy of something. The reason why I don't usually do these is if you ever look at the view count on any of my videos, on any of the platforms you watch them on, they are low. And I'm okay with that. I don't do this to become famous. I have no intention of going beyond just talking to a few people who quite like hearing my weird little voice. But it means asking for free things kind of puts a position of like, well, who am I helping by getting this free thing? How many more people are going to see this than the creator of the comic book already has thousands more fans than I will ever have? Plus, what if it's bad? I'd feel really terrible doing a terrible review of something I got for free that somebody gave me instead of charging me money for it. Thankfully, this is a great book. It genuinely is. I felt confident going into it for a couple of reasons. Number one, a few of the people online had said they also had access to it early. They really liked what they saw, and these are people I trust. Secondly, I read the blurb on the back, and it did appeal to me. Although the blurb on the, well, I don't know if it's on the back or it might just be like on a press release kind of thing. There's something about the blurb which I was like, oh. And it kind of surprised me when I actually read the book, because they reference quite a few different works already out there, movies, TV shows, and comic books. Not an unusual thing to do, but a couple of them were very much in the surrealist kind of area. And I didn't get a surreal vibe from this book at all. It felt ridiculously down to earth for a comic book involving big ideas and superheroes. It felt like a story of people who happen to live in that world. That is a huge selling point for me, by the way. I do like my superhero stories. Look where I work. But I also really like the stories of people who have to kind of like live in the world of extraordinary things happening. And sometimes, yeah, they might have their own little gifts or powers or abilities, but for the most part, they are not on a Superman, Batman kind of level. They're just people who happen to live in that kind of world. And it's a fascinating way to look at how that world operates, from criminal justice, the way politics works, the day-to-day lives of people who are bombarded with news stories about this and have to live with the repercussions, physical and emotional, of it. And the people we're focusing on in this book aren't actually, how to phrase this, they're not the best kind of, now, it feels like I'm taking the mickey out of who these people are. I want to start by saying they're brilliantly realised characters. Every one of them feels like a fully rounded person, exists in the world, surrounded by other people who are 100% authentic, but they make the same kind of mistakes we all make. Imperfect might be the best way to describe them. One of the common things I see in this book, I've seen a couple of others recently, I do quite like it, is this inability for these characters to look at things that go wrong in the world and separate themselves from it. It's that main character kind of syndrome of the first response to something going wrong is either, what did I do to deserve this to happen to me, or what mistake did I make that led this thing to go wrong? People center themselves in stories. It's a very, very common thing, and seeing it done like this, especially for just ordinary people in a world of superheroes who still center themselves, it's a fascinating look at these characters, and I really like it. All the stuff that happens, yes, it is big. The ideas are huge. Some of the concepts of the superpowers are extravagant even by superhero stories, but they all make sense within the world. I don't think surrealist referencing is necessary. I think it takes away a little bit from it. If you want a couple things that I would say, think minor threats, think everything sucks. Even a little bit of what's the furthest place from here, but that goes into slightly weirder territory. It is down to earth, brilliantly written character study with a great plot as well. And this plot is brilliant and it's presented wonderfully. It's not a point A to point B narrative. There is jumping around as people remember things, as people tell each other stories, as people have dreams of the future and remember what happened in the past. People discuss their past and tell each other about it, and it all comes together beautifully. There's also a really nice trick the writer does, and I have criticised other writers before. Probably my least favourite one is a British writer, I think, who usually does comedy books, who did a fantasy one, and he obviously done a lot of research and spent 3 entire pages telling me how to put on a suit of armour, and I read that and just thought, well, he did a lot of research and decided to make that my problem. This book has a lot of those moments, but they feel far more naturalistic. They feel far more like falling down a wiki hole. It is just ask a question, somebody gives an answer, then somebody else around the table goes, well, actually, no, I think that's not the originator of that idea. There is more to this story. There is more depth to it. That feels much better done. It gives a chance some genuinely hilarious jokes, and it feeds into who the characters are in the world and the way they live. It is very much a case of, yeah, there is more going on, there's more under the surface, and these people are the kind of people who would make that mistake of engaging in this debate around a pub table, correcting each other, arguing, and if the comic book was set in a contemporary thing, bringing out phones and checking, set in 1999, pre 9/11, and it feels a little bit more like that's the kind of conversation I remember having at that time round a pub table. Brilliantly written, brilliantly realised. The book isn't out for a while yet, but I would advise not sleeping on this one. I think it could be a bit of a modern classic. I certainly absolutely loved it. That's it for me for now, though. Until I see you all again, look after yourself, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!